Hi, hello, welcome. Let's get cozy and let's talk about books. And Happy New Year, happy 2026. Welcome to a new year of reading and yapping about books with me. If you're new here, I'm Amalia and we read around here. As you can see, these are some of the books that I've read in 2025. 2025 was not only the year when I started creating content about books, but also the year when I actually started reading. Up until last year, I had read about 100 books in my entire life, and then I read 100 books in 1 year, which I really didn't expect would happen, and I'm so proud of myself and also so privileged to have had the time and the energy to go through so many amazing stories and to meet so many new characters and so many new worlds. Such a good year, and today we're gonna yap all about it. We are going to talk about every single book that I read in the year of 2025, and we are going to rank them from worst to best. That's going to be intense, and you might be thinking, these are all of them? No, these are about half of them. I have some copies back in my childhood home. Some of them I read on my iPad, some of them I listened to. So these are just half of all the books that we're going to talk about. I'm going to try to be as brief as possible, saying the most important part about every single one of them, but not yap for too long because we don't want to be here until 2027. With that being said, let's roll the tape. And we are actually going to talk about them in star ratings. So which books I gave 2 stars, which books I gave 3, 4, and then 5. So it was easier for me to put them in an order. We're going to talk about every single star rating that I gave them. And also, the way that I ranked them, Hunger Games, it's a series, right? It's a 5-book series. I included Hunger Games as a whole. Maybe didn't like The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes as much as I liked The Sunrise on the Reaping, but I didn't separate the series. So it would be easier for me to rank them, but also for you to keep up with every single book that I'm talking about. I don't want to speak about the Hunger Games now and then 5 minutes later and then 20 minutes later. Like, it's more organized like this. So keep that in mind. I put series together even if maybe one of the books in that series was higher rated or lower rated than the 4-star or 3 stars that I put them in. I don't know if that makes any sense. You're gonna get the grip of it when we're gonna talk about them. The first book that we're gonna talk about is one book that I actually did not rate. The very nice and sweet author asked me to read her book, and I thought it wasn't fair for me to give her a rating because I read it as a favor to her. So I would have been biased. Fragments of the Bleeding Sky. It was actually a very fun time going through this story, knowing that she's like, I think she was 11 years old when she wrote the story, so actually she's very, very young. The book tackles such intense topics, like it's a mafia book and we're dealing with a group of friends and they go through so much that come back together after life really tried them. Now we can actually get into the ranking, and we're gonna start from the worst book that I read this year. I actually didn't rate any books this year 1 star. I only had 2, 3, 4, and 5 stars. The first 2 stars that I gave this year as a series as a whole, well, actually, I don't know the name of it, but we have Ruby Red, Sapphire Blue, and Emerald Green. This is a YA fantasy type book, and don't get me wrong, I really did like the concept of the book. We are following a young girl who comes from a family that can travel through time. She grew up thinking that she actually didn't have the gene of time traveling. When she turns 16, she starts having symptoms of it, and then one day, I think she was in school, and all of a sudden she's in the 1800s. She stumbles upon people with like wigs and big dresses, and she's like, what the hell is going on? What's happening? It's basically her story of figuring out time travel and why she has the gene, and there's a whole drama happening in her past and she has to figure it out, and there's also a romance going on. So I think if you are a young person wanting to read a YA fantasy, that's actually a good series. But to me, honestly, it was too YA. Like, it was too childish, and book 1 was fun. I think I even gave that one 4 stars. But then in book 2, literally nothing happened. Like, nothing happened. And then in book 3, I really expected an insane plot twist and everything to come together like beautifully, and it was just disappointing. I was like, that's it. Moving on to the only Christmas book that I read this year, which was Christmas at Valentine Inn. I wanted to get in the Christmas spirit, and I wanted a short fun audiobook. Well, actually, now that I think about it, I think I read one more Christmas book, but it wasn't very Christmassy. This one was very Christmassy and very much nothing happened. Very Hallmark type story. I just didn't care for the characters. I didn't connect to anyone. I wouldn't recommend. 2 stars. No, just no. The last book that I gave 2 stars this year, Verity by Colleen Hoover. I think the reason why I rated this book so low was because I had such high expectations. The plot twist was supposed to blow your mind, and it fell so flat for me. The more I thought about it, the more I hated it, and I had something against it. The only reason why I didn't give this 1 star and I gave it 2 was because I really was captivated the whole entire time. Like, I couldn't put it down. It was really motivating to pick it up and to read more, but not in a good way. We are now going into the 3-star category, and the first book in this category is All Roads Lead Here. I went into that book with such high expectations because I knew about Mariana Zapata, that she was the slow burn queen. I didn't root for the couple. Like, I didn't think they should have been together. Honestly, it could have been friends because I didn't feel like they were yearning for each other that much. Just not for me. Moving on to the Ex-Hex. This is another one that I listened to on audio, and it was Halloween, I think, and I was like, okay, let me read at least one themed book. And this one was fun. Like, again, the premise of it was funny. It was about 2 witches who put a curse on one of their exes, and it was supposed to be a joke, but then the guy was actually cursed, and they come together to fix the problem and to take it back, basically. And it's very, very horny. Oh my god. The next one is Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman, and I started listening to it, and it's about 2 people who are kidnapped. Their kidnapper is a psycho, a perv, and there are very, very dark topics. It's not even that I can't handle it, but it's a trigger warning that I usually need to know that I'm gonna read about it so that I am prepared. But I think it was the fact that I wasn't prepared, and that's completely on me. Like, I just didn't know. It was the first dark romance that I've ever read, and it was an accident. I read it by accident. Probably if I would have had the physical copy, I would have seen the trigger warnings, but in the audiobook, they don't say it. I was like, what the fuck am I listening to? Like, what is, I cannot do it. Like, what? I'm not even saying that it was a bad book. I actually don't think it was a bad book. It was wrong book, wrong time. Moving on to Picking Daisies on Sundays, classic rom-com. I think they were friends when they were younger, and she had a crush on him. He rejected her or something. Hadn't seen each other in a long time, and they come together. It's the classic, he's always been in love with her, she just didn't know about it, whatever. And it was sweet, it was cute, but not my favorite. The next book is If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. Every single person that I was following was giving this book 4.5, 5 stars, and speaking about this as if it was the best fall romance that they had ever read before. I didn't hate it, I just did not care for it. Did not like the main male character. He did nothing for me. I was not rooting for them. Again, I thought they were better as friends. This was also 500 pages, so there's no reason under the sun that a book where nothing happens is this long. Moving on to my Oxford year, this was actually a reread, very similar to The Fault in Our Stars. Everything, 5 Feet Apart, Me Before You. That was my gem growing up. That book really did it for me when I read it. Because the movie came out, I wanted to reread it to refresh my memory before watching the movie. Genuinely thought that the movie was better. The Love Hypothesis. Everybody under the sun who read this book loved it. I was reading this book while also reading Releasing 10. That is the most traumatic, intense, dark, serious story that I have ever read in my whole entire life. So you can just about imagine in what type of a mindset I was when reading this book. This felt so shallow. Now that I'm looking back, I'm realizing that I wasn't fair to it, but it just didn't hit for me. That's very sad, honestly, because I know this book is very, very loved by so many people. Moving on to This Woven Kingdom. It's so clear that the series was supposed to be a trilogy, and it was dragged out to be a 5-book series. Books 2 and 3 could have been 1. I honestly have zero intention to finish the story. I'm sorry. And then this summer I turned pretty. This was one of the biggest surprises of 2025. I think the show definitely changed my feelings towards the books. Like, I think more highly of the story now, that because I love the show so much. The books were just mid. They were 3 stars, nothing spectacular. I highly recommend the show. If you've not watched it yet, trust me. I don't know what they put in it. Even if you think the first few episodes are cringe, I promise you by the end of season 1 you are going to be so hooked. It's gonna be your whole entire personality, and I promise you that because I've convinced other people to watch it and they were like, no, I can't do it, it's too cringe. And then, you know, it's just that good. It's so good. I got a little bit worked up right now. Let's go back. Moving on to The Unhoneymooners. I think it would make a great movie. We are following this girl whose twin sister just got married. At her wedding, everybody got food poisoning besides her twin sister and the groom's brother. The bride and groom had this honeymoon planned in Hawaii and they didn't want it to go to waste. So the sister of the bride and the brother of the groom decide to go on this honeymoon together, but they do hate each other. It was very funny. It had so much character. It was fun. It was a fun time. Moving on to Game Changer. I couldn't resist the hype. It's everywhere. This was the last book that I read in 2025. I was like, let me see what the hype is all about. And because I'm who I am, I couldn't go into the series without reading the books first. I liked the book. I don't think I would have liked it if I would have read it physically, but as an audiobook in the airport, going back home for Christmas, it was fun, you know? It was very, very spicy. I think book 1 really set up the story perfectly for the following books in the series. Moving on to Chestnut Springs. I read books 2, 3, and 4 this summer. I had read book 1 in 2024. I did not particularly like it. I decided not to continue, but Chestnut Springs is definitely one of the most popular series. And I was like, you know what? Maybe books 2, 3, 4, 5 will be better. Don't really get the hype. I don't understand why they're so popular. I thought they were just average. But I will say Reckless was a good one. That was an accidental pregnancy done right. Heartless was your classic single daddy nanny, and then Powerless was just no. All the missing pieces, I remember that she reminded me heavily of Alex Cooper, especially because she was a podcaster, she was blonde, she was fit. It was good. It was fun. It was a good time. I'm glad my mom died. If you like behind the scenes of what it's actually like to be a child actor, like if you are interested in that industry and what actually went on behind Nickelodeon and Disney Channel and all of that stuff, because it's a topic that was talked about not only by Jeanette McCurdy, but a lot of other artists came clean about what had happened to them and their story in Hollywood. Yeah, if you're interested in that, definitely give it a listen. Quicksilver and Brimstone, the 2 books that are out in this series. I did enjoy Quicksilver for what it was. It was a very tropey romantic, very similar to ACOTAR, but a fun time. And the ending really shocked me. It had the wow factor. This book took me 16 days to read. I usually read about 2 books in a week. This one took me over 2 weeks. Just this book. And the last 3 stars we're going to talk about is The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year, the other Christmas book that I read. This one didn't really feel that Christmassy. It was more of a cozy mystery that was happening during Christmas time. This was another audiobook listen, and I listened to it as I was decorating my room for Christmas, so I wasn't paying full attention to it. I was doing other things as I was listening, so it didn't really have my full attention. But I do remember liking the MMC a lot, and I thought he was so baby girl and so much better than I was expecting for a cozy mystery. Okay, we are finally getting into the 4 stars. The first 4-star we're going to talk about is Close Protection by Eden Victoria. This is Eden's first book. I was so excited to read her debut. I have been following her on Book Talk ever since I made a TikTok account. I think it would be a great adaptation. I think it's gonna have a sequel, and I'm excited for that. Love Redesigned, Love Unwritten, and Love Arranged. This is the 2nd series that I've read from Lauren Asher, and I honestly prefer the Dreamland Billionaire series. These books, and in general Lauren Asher books, I just don't think they're 5-star material for me. They're a good time. They're not like, oh my God, this is the best thing that I've read in my whole entire life. And I know this is a singular experience. I know that other people really do enjoy these way more than I did. These were just fine for me. Moving on to her first series, as I said, I did prefer that one over Lakefront Billionaires. We are following three brothers who own Dreamland, which is something like Disneyland. The company was owned by their grandfather, and when he died, he left every single one of the brothers a task. And if they completed the task, they would get their share of the company. Definitely my favorite one was Final Offer, which is book 3. If you want to read anything from Lauren Asher, I would say definitely go into Dreamland Billionaires over Lakefront. So many billionaires, guys. Let's tone it down. Okay. The next one I wrote down was Metal Slinger. The plot twist is insane. I did not see it coming, and I was looking for it. It was really, really a good one, and I did have a lot of fun reading it. Daughter of No Worlds. It set up the story so nicely, and it left so much room for the world to grow and the characters to grow, and I really, really loved the romance, even though I feel like it's definitely more of a fantasy than a romantasy. I think more than anything, I really loved their friendship, and I really liked the fact that they were friends before they fell in love. Like, before we got any yearning and oh my God, I love her, and oh my God, I love him, we got them getting to know each other, liking each other, and being friends. And then we saw a little bit of yearning and a little bit of, I kind of would like for it to be more. Solid 4-star. The Prison Healer series, I remember finishing that book being like, what? I immediately went into book 2. She will write the end of her books in such a way that you must continue her series. Like, you must know what was going to happen. I thought it was a good YA series. I'm glad I read it. Another fantasy book, this time a standalone, is Catabasis or Catabasis. The first 70 or 80% of this book, obsessed with it. A lot of people say it's too info dumpy. I don't think everybody would have understood it if she didn't completely explain the lore behind it. I really appreciated all of the information that she gave on her knowledge about hell, just this world that she created. It's just that the ending lost me. That's why it's a 4-star. The next 4-star is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the first book in a series. This is a YA crime mystery series. I only read book 1, but I really want to continue the series this year. We are following some teenagers who have this natural abilities, kind of like a superpower sort of situation. They are helping the FBI to solve some cases. And in book 1, we are following Cassie. She is involved in her mother's crime case because her mother was murdered, and she's solving the case, and it's so good. I also read Divergent for the first time this year. I am absolutely obsessed with the movies. The only thing that I will say about this book is that they're 16 and 18 in the movie. In No World is for 18 years old. Like, he's an adult. So it was very weird to read the story because in the book they do feel more like children. And the last 4-star read of the year was Beach Read by Emily Henry. I loved everything about this story besides Gus. Loved January. I loved the setting. I loved Emily Henry's commentary on grief and love and giving yourself a second chance and dealing with a life change that completely rewrites your past and your views on your life and on life in general and on love and everything that you thought you knew. It was a lie. I loved this book with a passion. Some of these quotes, like, I'm overwhelmed that you exist. I kind of want to reread this book because I feel like I was so pissed at the MMC while I was reading it that I couldn't get past that. But as a story, I do feel like this might be her strongest one when it comes to women's fiction. Okay, and now let's get into the 4.5. Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I remember liking her a lot, and how well she knew herself and how unapologetically herself she was. The next book is Nora Goes Off Script, and initially I gave this book only 4 stars. I keep thinking about that book. Like, ever since I finished that book, I cannot stop thinking about it. She was a script writer, and she used to write very hallmarky movies and selling them. When she got a divorce, she wrote her first script that was more intense, complex, less shallow, I would say, and it gets picked up to be a movie. They decided to shoot the movie at her house because her house was just heaven on earth, and she falls in love with the actor who plays her husband. Moving on to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I finally read this book this year. I know I'm about a million years late, but you know what? Better late than never. I think popular books are popular for a reason, and this was no exception. I really liked it. I kind of want to watch the TV show now that I've read the book, and I do want to continue the series. Nothing else. Loved it. I also read The Map That Leads to You in anticipation of the movie. I hated the movie. I think it was lacking the charm of the book. I felt like the book was miles better. This was even a 4.75. I think the only reason why I didn't give this book 5 stars was because the MMC kind of infuriated me at times. Like, he was such a piece of shit in some points of the book. But other than that, I really loved the way that it was written. It kind of reminded me of the Before trilogy. Read it before watching the movie because you don't want the story to be spoiled. Moving on to the two of us, we are handling grief and we are handling second chance romance, childhood, friends, lovers, to enemies, to lovers again. Kind of like All Roads Lead here, but way more emotional. So therefore, better. Then we have Time of Your Life by Jessa Hastings. This was my least favorite book of hers because I felt like it was very, very similar to Magnolia Parks. I just think the story is not her strongest. Moving on to Happy Place by Emily Henry. We're following 2 people who were married and they got a divorce, and their friends didn't know about that, and they are hiding it from them for a couple of weeks, and they go on holiday together. Top 3 Emily Henry books for me. I'm obsessed with this book. And then we have People We Meet on Vacation. A lot of people say that they're whether a beach read person or a book lovers person. Well, I am a People We Meet on Vacation person. A lot of people said that Poppy was insufferable. Well, I didn't find her insufferable at all. I actually really loved her, and Alex is just a sweetheart. Okay, let's proceed to Divine Rivals. I'm kind of upset that I don't have the physical copy and that I didn't annotate it. The writing was spectacular. The way that it ends is so intriguing. Like, I really want to know what happens, but I have not heard the best things about Ruthless Vows, and that's why I haven't gotten to it. I'm excited to read more from this author because I just loved her writing. All of Abby Jimenez's books, they're not all part of the same series. We have Say You'll Remember Me, that's starting a new series, and the second book in the series is coming in 2026. Part of Your World series, which contains Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and Just for the Summer. The Friend Zone series, The Friend Zone, the Happy Ever After playlist, and Life's Too Short. I haven't read Life's Too Short yet. That's the only Abby Jimenez book out there that I have not read yet. She was one of my favorite authors of 2025. Her books they're so cozy and funny, and they feel like coming home, but they're also so emotional. I have not read one book by this woman that did not make me violently cry. I know a lot of authors have become problematic in 2025. It really sucks when you have a favorite author and you want to read all of their books and you want to rave about them and you want to make everybody under the sun read the book, but you can't do that because you can't support the author. It sucks. I really hope nobody finds anything about Abby Jimenez. I hope she's an angel on earth because I cannot imagine a world where I'm not reading her books anymore. Keep her safe. Protect her at all costs, please. Project Hail Mary. All of the reasons why this wasn't a 5-star are on me. I watched the movie trailer before finishing the book. Don't look at the last page, and also listen to it on audio. 5-star category. The first book in the 5-star category is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, a magical realism book about a girl who moves into her aunt's apartment after she passed away. and this apartment is magical and it slips through time. And she meets a guy who is living 7 years in the past in her apartment. Another one by Emily Henry, the first 5-star I ever gave to any Emily Henry book, was a funny story. We are following two people who have been dumped. His girlfriend and her boyfriend are getting married, and they end up living together. And they're invited to their ex's wedding, and they decide to go and fake their relationship. And the title and how the title came to be, so good. Emily Henry just knows how to do it. Great Big Beautiful Life. And this is a very controversial take. This is definitely not her most loved book. This is actually her most hated book, if I dare say that. My favorite Emily Henry book of all time. I would say go into this one knowing that you're gonna get more of a women's fiction story more than a romance, and I feel like if you go into it with the right expectations, you're gonna love it more. Next, we have One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. We are following this woman who was married to the love of her life, and he goes missing. She refuses to believe that he's gone for a long time, but then she eventually decides that it's time to move on. And she falls in love with someone else and she gets engaged. And then her husband comes back and he thinks they're still married, and his motivation to get back home was his love for her. Now she's faced with the question, like, am I staying with the guy that I'm in love with and I'm supposed to marry, or am I going back to my husband that I thought was dead for however many years? Then we have the Windy City series. I'm missing Mile High and The Right Move. Mile High was my least favorite, and it was a 4.25 or something like that. The Right Move and Caught Up were 4.5s. Nothing wrong with them, it's just that they didn't give me the 5-star feeling. And then Play Along and Rewind It Back are 5 stars for me. This series overall is like home. These people are my family. They are real. They exist. I'm part of that family. This story will make you feel like you are there with them. If I could, I would never leave this universe. And then we have the entire Powerless series. I don't generally talk about it too much because it's a very hyped up series and it's a very popular series, but I do love it and it's very dear to me. So it's definitely in my top reads of the year. This is a series that I'm gonna want to reread and come back to. Moving on to The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. I almost died of crying. This very much felt like The Lucky One. If you love The Lucky One, you will love this story. Another Rebecca Yarros one is Variation, and this, to me, is the perfect contemporary romance. I don't understand why this book is so underrated. I need every single person under the sun to read this book. Then we have The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. We're following Georgia, who's able to read people so well that she can tell if what they're saying is true or not. Something happened in her family 10 years ago. They shipped her to London to boarding school. She didn't see them for 10 years, and now her father passed away and she has to come back to her small town, very religious town, for the first time in 10 years. We are finding out about an affair that her father had, and they go on an adventure like all the siblings, even though they kind of hate each other and they all have beef with each other. And we have Sam Penny, who is her love interest in this book, and the way that they fall in love and the way that she falls back in love with herself and her family, and she makes peace with everyone. And this is tackling some heavy topics, so definitely check your trigger warnings, but this was just perfection. Like, I cannot rave about this book enough. Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. This was the biggest surprise of 2025. I had not heard one singular raving review of this book. We are following 3 sisters 1 year after their 4th sister passed away, and we can see how they're handling grief separately, and also we see their journey coming back together as a family, and we see how fucked up every single one of them is. Every single one of them is so flawed. I couldn't bring myself to judge them though. I loved them so much. I understood them. I stood by them. We have The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, my very first YouTube video. This series and my experience reading it is so very special to me. I loved every single second of it. I am the biggest Hunger Games fan, read Sunrise on the Reaping and definitely read it before the movie comes out in November. You're not gonna regret it. Okay, now we have another series, which is the Magnolia Park series. These were my very first reading vlogs on TikTok. So again, another very special series for me. Now looking back, I am aware of the fact that Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates might not be a 5-star for you, because I see how they're flawed and I see how they could potentially not be everyone's piece of cake. But as a series, like as a whole, to me, the Magnolia Park series is like so special. I'm so deeply attached to all of the characters. Daisy's story is not complete, so there are still books to come in this series. A lot of people compare this to Gossip Girl. No, it's better. The next book, number 6, is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this book solidified my undying love for Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am 100% convinced that I need to read every single book that this woman ever wrote. I'm sure I still have some emotional damage from the ending of that book. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. We are following two sisters in World War II. Initially, as you go into the story, you think about these two people as such different people and people with such different ambitions and such different goals in life. But then ultimately you see how the war strips down people to their 100% natural form. And ultimately you find out how similar they actually are and how much they love each other. And when nothing else matters, these two sisters come together in the most beautiful way. This is a heartbreaking story. The ending of this book, I have chills all over my body just thinking about the ending of this book. I don't want to cry. Come on. My friends, please, for the love of everything that's good in this world, read this book. Even if you're not a fiction reader, read this book. The characters, the plot, you even have a little mystery going on. So you're even going to be motivated to keep reading and flip the page. It's not that long. Like, I promise you. It's everything. I did a reread of Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and Onyx Storm. I was so anxious reading this book. It's just so good. Like, genuinely, it's a fun time. I think that if you are reading for vibes, if you're reading to have a good time, it's this. I'm sorry, it's this. It's entertaining, it's good, it's romantic, it's spicy, but it's still like, oh my god, the plot twists at the end. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what happened? I need to know. Alchemized by Senlin Yu. Standalone fantasy, a world after the war ended. We are following Helena, who is a victim of that war. She was imprisoned and tortured. They find out that her memories are encrypted and they're trying to figure out what she's hiding in her memories, and she's taken to the High Reeve for him to untangle her memories and figure out what she's hiding. So interesting, so thought-provoking, so critical of the society that we live in, but also so romantic and so tragic. And it's one of the most beautiful stories that I've ever read in my whole entire life. It's just impeccable. One of the best books out there in the world. Boys of Tommen series. In 2025, when Releasing 10 was announced, I decided to do a reread of Binding 13, Keeping 13, and finally read Taming 7. I could not bring myself to read Saving 6 and Redeeming 6 because those books were so traumatizing that I genuinely feel like I need 10 business years to recover from the trauma that those books inflicted. Like, genuinely, those were heartbreaking. Like, I cannot even begin to imagine. After reading Lizzie's story, I did go back to some chapters from Redeeming 6 because I needed to remind myself of Joey's perspective. I was always a Lizzie defender because of what she did for Joey, but besides the point. If you don't know what Boys of Tommen is, it's a ongoing series. It's not done, about teenagers, traumatized teenagers going through life and finding each other and finding comfort and home in each other. No other world or universe will ever compare to the found family that Boys of Tommen is. I don't know if I'm ever going to reread Releasing 10 because of how dark, traumatizing, graphic, and hard it was to read, but I think it was an important story. If you've never had those experiences in your life or in any way presented to you, this is the school of life. I have a hard time using the right words to describe these books. I have a hard time encapsulating these books in a description or a very convincing pitch or anything like that, because these books to me are not just a trope. They're not just a storyline, a plot. These books to me are reality. These books to me are as if this is my family and these are their childhood stories, you know, as if I sat down at family table and they were telling me about their lives in their teenage years. I don't know how to describe how much I love these books and how important they are. I don't think they will ever not be my favorite books of all time. They have no flaws and they're perfect to me, and anything this woman would ever write in this universe will be 6 stars, infinity stars, best books in the world to me. With all of that being said, we have just wrapped my ranking of the 100 books that I've read in 2025 from worst to best. I have had a very good reading year, if I do say so myself. I am very happy with all of the books I've read this year. I'm very happy with how my reading taste developed and the amazing books that I found, the amazing stories that I've learned, and I am so lucky to have found this hobby in my 20s. I think it's one of the best ways that you can spend your time and grow your mind, your heart, yourself as a person. I hope you enjoyed. I hope the book that you're reading right now is the best book you've ever read, a 5-star floppy masterpiece. And without further ado, I'll leave you to reading.